everyone, Joey here, and we are back today with another of Joey Fixes Things sort of video here. We've already talked about, in the past, Dolphin and the Dolphin CS fork that I made for custom storage. We talked about that last week. Talked about M64 Plus FZ and adding retro achievements to it. That's done. A lot of people are asking me about Nether SX2. That is also done, but the developer hasn't released a build yet for it. You can compile your own Nether SX2 with it if you wanted to. It's on the GitHub for those that know how to do that. But otherwise, you can go bother Tricks to upload his build that has the new fix, which should add the ability to change custom storage like we're going to show off today for Duckstation. It's going to work the exact same. So I guess I'm burying the lead there, but we are going to talk today about Duckstation and my Duckstation-Patch, which lets you put Duckstation's data on your internal storage. So you might be wondering why you would want to do that. Well, there's a lot of reasons why. Number one is there is something called Android data. And for those that watched my previous videos, you know what I'm talking about. But if you go into your Android data storage, everything that's in here for a lot of devices can't access. It's really difficult. Some file managers, some ways around it, some things can work in like hacky ways, but not in an easy way. And there are a lot of programs like SyncThing that won't work with some devices to sync files behind here. So let's say you wanted Duckstation memory cards to sync across different devices, and you had an Ambernic device or an INEO device, it wouldn't work there. That being said, on like an AOIN or Retroid device, it does. So to help fix this for everybody, to make everything easily accessible, I created Duckstation-Patch. So I'm going to walk you through what to do now if you have, and all the steps, if you have the actual Duckstation installed and how to install my patch. So let's start there. This is Duckstation normal, as anybody would have it from Play Store, from Obtainium, or whatever. What we're going to do is click the top left, three little buttons, and we're going to go over into transfer data. And now it's going to ask you, what do you want to do, zip or folder? We're going to do zip, and then it asks you, do you want to transfer data? Yeah, we want to export. What this is doing is exporting all of our data from Duckstation. So I'm going to go over into our internal storage, into the downloads folder, and I'm just going to call this Duck. And done. And now it's going to ask me, I have memory cards, I have save states. This is what we are exporting. Is that fine with you? And yeah, it's fine. Export. There we go. So now we have a file that is in our downloads folder that is called duck.zip. And that has all of our memory cards and save states. You might have more things like HD texture packs or whatever, but everything that you need would be in there. So what we're going to do now is head over to Duckstation. We're going to uninstall it right over there. And now we need to go and grab my patch and Duckstation. So we're going to go over to Chrome, and I'm already in my GitHub for Duckstation-Patch. So you just want to go over to the releases tab. All of this will be in the description just in case you need it. But you want to scroll down on this page, and there's two things that you want here, and it tells you need the APK for Dolphin, which I have here, and also the XDelta file, which is the patch. So there's two files here. You want to grab them both. So root storage, that is the patch, and then the APK, which is the actual APK of Duckstation. You might be wondering, why are we patching this instead of just having one single APK? Unfortunately, Duckstation Android is closed source. We can't access the source. I can't put that code in. The only way we can do it, including the fact that there's licensing involved, is a patch like this, the same way we used to do it for Nether. So now we have both files. You're going to need something called Unipatcher. So I already have that here on my GitHub on this main page here. If you scroll down, you're going to see something called Open Unipatcher. If you want an easy link to it, you could just click it. It's going to bring you to the Unipatcher GitHub. Just scroll down on the right, go over to the releases. You're going to see the latest release there, and you can just download that APK for Unipatcher. Okay, now we need to install everything. So we're going to go over into our files, and you're going to see the files we just downloaded. Very first thing we want to do is install Unipatcher. So just click it, install, and it's installed. Go ahead and open it. This app here helps patch the APK. So it makes our changes that I made apply to the actual Duckstation. So we're going to choose patch file, and then you want to search for your XDelta, which was in your downloads folder, and just tap it. That is the patch. For ROM file, just tap it, and you want to choose the Duckstation Android APK. So just tap it. Then for output file, just tap that, and it should automatically just create a name for you. It's going to save in your downloads folder by default. That's fine, just click save. Then click the little icon here in the bottom right to apply. We've patched it, we're great. Let's head back to files now, right bottom there, and you're going to see our Duckstation Android patched APK. Click it, click install, and then open it. Now at this point, the very first thing you're going to get hit with is an Manage All Files Permissions app screen. This is very important. You need to click this for everything to work. If you don't click this, it'll go back to working the way it used to. So click this, allow it, make sure you do that, and then back arrow on the top. And now you can go through the usual setup wizard, which is usually just pushing next. And if you want to set the game directories and all of that, for the purpose of today's video, I'm just going to skip through this to the final thing. So here we are now on the home screen of Duckstation-Patch. Now at this point, you can go and do whatever. You can follow my Duckstation guide, set it all up, be all nice and pretty, everything that you need to do as per normal Duckstation. Nothing is different here except for one single thing. We can go look now at our Files app, and we're going to go into our internal storage, and you're going to see it right here, just called Duckstation. That is the folder now with all of our data. So if I go inside of that, you have whatever BIOS that you've installed to it, any cheats, you have game settings, input profiles, your memory cards, which if you need to access them, all of that is here. And everything that you need is here and accessible. However, there was one thing we didn't do, which was import all of our data. So let's say you exported all of your data, you're now ready to import. Let's go into the top left, and we're going to go over into transfer data. And again, zip file, because that's how we have it. And this time we're going to import. And now you have to select that duck.zip that we created earlier. It's going to ask you, what do you need to import? Again, you might have different than I do. So I'm just going to click import. And there we go, zip import complete. To double check that it all worked, we can easily just go into the Duckstation folder that we had. I'm just going to refresh it. And I'm going to pop into mem cards. And you're going to see all of my mem cards here are now in this folder. And I think I had some save states as well. All of them right here. So that all worked. And now you can just go and do whatever with Duckstation. You are all set up. Everything works great. Now this is on the internal storage. That's where this Duckstation folder is created. I wanted to make this very simple, very easy, because again, this is closed source. This was already difficult enough to patch in. If you ever want to move this, just copy this Duckstation folder onto your SD card, pop it into another device, move it to the internal storage, and off you go. So you can just keep moving this Duckstation folder. You can use SyncThing with it. You could do whatever you want. Now, one important thing about SyncThing that I do want to mention that is a little bit confusing to understand, but I'm going to go ahead and add, let me do this here. I'm going to add some games to our Duckstation, just so I can explain it. Okay, now, even without this patch, Duckstation works a little weirdly with saves for SyncThing, and it's why a lot of people have issues with SyncThing with it. Okay, so let's say you jump into a game in Duckstation, and you're in the game, you make a save, you're doing all of your normal things and whatever. You know to exit a game is to use the in-game menu, and you go to exit game. And so at this point, you think that everything's good. I've exited the game, the save should be good, all of it should be good. So you just push back and you go and live your life, you go into files, you go do whatever. And then you go over to SyncThing, and SyncThing's like, I can't sync Duckstation, hashing error and all this sort of thing. And so you're very confused. Well, what's happening is Duckstation, while it is open, still has the saves open. So it can't sync at this point. The only way you can get that to work, even with my patch, is to swipe it away. And at this point now, Duckstation can be synced with SyncThing, and everybody lives and goes on with their life. So I do want to point that out, because one of the issues with SyncThing and Duckstation has always been that problem, which we always assumed was due to the Android data scope storage, but it was just because Duckstation has these saves open still, even on the home screen. So just make sure you're swiping away if you are using SyncThing to make sure that everything gets synced properly and works properly. Otherwise, at this point, there's not much else to talk about here. It's Duckstation, and except now it is on your internal storage in a folder called Duckstation that you can go and easily access. You can go and bring any saves over. If you are curious, in the mem cards folder, the saves are named after the ROM, and then it's _1.mcd. If you have any RetroArch saves .srm ones, just remove the .srm and add _1.mcd, and it should work in Duckstation. Save states obviously will not work, but actual memory card saves should work properly like that. That's how I've always done it, and it always works. Otherwise, that's it. That's all I got. Duckstation now works for internal storage, and you can sync it easily and all that sort of thing. Hopefully that helps you and all the people that actually use Duckstation, which is probably the best emulator you can use for Dux or actual PS1 emulation right now, especially with this change. It makes it perfect for syncing users like myself and anybody that wants to touch the data. That's going to be it for this one. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow. Come join me on the Discord to talk all about retro gaming, and hope you all have a good one.